Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another daily video on the second channel. Today I'm joined with the lovely Quang.
Hey there, how we doing?
How you doing, man?
All right, not too bad.
Good. What are you up to at the moment then with this whole lockdown going on?
Sitting at home mostly, yeah. Sitting at home working on my game, which I've been developing for a while.
Are you talking about Mau Mau Castle?
I am indeed talking about Marmar Castle, yeah.
What is left with that game?
It's just quite a few bits. We got to add more content. We got to do the online stuff, add a few more fun things. Yeah, just finishing it up. We're looking to launch in 31st of May.
31st of May. Blimey, that's not far away.
No, not at all.
That's not far away at all. So there's not too much left. I mean, that still sounds like there's quite a lot left, but I have no idea what goes into a game.
Yeah, there's still a fair chunk to deal with. It's been broken for quite a while, so we've been trying to fix it up so it actually works in the new platform and stuff.
Blimey.
So yeah, it's getting a bit tense.
Yeah, that's mental. So Quang, for those of you who may not know, is a sort of you're a friend in the circle, really, aren't you? You've obviously got your own brand. You design obviously. You're developing a game called Mau Mau Castle from the ground up. You're also a collector, but we'll touch on that in just a second, as I'm sure you were expecting, Quang. But yeah, you're sort of a friend in the circle of content creators in the UK, retro content creators. You've got your own channel, but
Yeah.
you've just befriended everyone, which is good, because obviously we need a tech person, a modern tech person, considering we're all retro tech people.
Yeah.
We haven't got a clue what we're doing. But yeah, explain a little bit about that sort of.
Yeah, for sure. So I do have a YouTube channel, but I would not in any way say I'm a YouTuber or content creator in that respect at all.
Yeah.
But I am friends with many of the UK's retro gaming YouTubers. I'm a huge supporter of the community. I go to all the events I can do. And I try to contribute as much as I can in any way I can. So, yeah.
It helps that you have not only just a knowledge with all things retro consoles and tech, but you also have all things retro consoles and tech. Almost all. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I probably have one of the largest retro console collections out there in their boxes. I've not met anyone who's come close to the variation I have.
Yeah. And how did you set out on that quest? Because I mean, realistically, if someone turns around one day and just says, you know what, I want to collect every single boxed console from cheapo knockoff Chinese wannabe to every single rare console, like the Apple console that came out that's extremely hard to find, all the different Philips CDI stuff and PC Engine stuff, and how do you explain what happened?
I've always had a love for consoles in general, especially the Game Boy, which is my console of choice, I guess. And we've been lucky enough that my parents have bought us a console from each generation, so we went along, and I've kept hold of them, and I care for them, and I keep the boxes and stuff. And then as we got older, I started making money, so I started picking up the consoles that I didn't have when I was younger. So like the Mega Drive, because I had a Super Nintendo instead, and picking them up. And then I got to some point where people started noticing that I had a good chunk of consoles, maybe 30, 40 consoles by then. And then I thought, that's cool. So as I got older, I got, you get older and you get jobs and you start making money, so you can buy the things that you wanted when you were kids.
Yeah.
And then I got to about 75 or so consoles, and including a few PC Engines and New Geos and things like that. And people were like, "Oh, you must have like all of them by now." And I was like, "Actually, I can't be that far off." So I thought maybe there might be about 100 or so consoles to find. So I started buying them all, and then I started showing people them, and people were like, "But do you have one of these or one of these?" And I'm no. And then your list of things to get starts growing, and as I'm catching up, it goes faster. And I'm at about 230 consoles now or so in their boxes, and I still think there's at least another 30, 40 to go, at least.
How do you even find them? Because I constantly discover new variations and stuff that surface, so how do you even find every console? Because there's just so many. Yeah,
so you have to draw some very strict guidelines. So I've chosen to choose only consoles that have changeable games, so the Ouya doesn't count. And I've chosen consoles that were officially licensed and released.
Right.
So family clones don't count.
No, because that would be absurd.
Yeah. So also these current emulation consoles don't count as well because they're not their own thing. They don't take cartridges and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had to be very clear and very concise on what I pick. Otherwise, I'll be here forever.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
But where I find them, to be honest, the majority of them for a long time was just eBay. I would, cause I've been collecting for about 20 years now, and I would sit on eBay with watches and save searches, and hopefully they'll pop up every now and then, and you jump on it if you felt like it was a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's amazing Facebook groups. There's a handheld group. There's Game Boy groups.
Yeah.
There's other groups, and yeah, in the last few years, I've become more and more part of the community in retro gaming, and it's a wonderful community, and everyone trades together, and it's great stuff.
Yeah, you've sold me a game child or two. But yeah, no, the Mega Duck is something that I love a lot. I think the idea of an entire console and games library that only a very, very few people actually ever owned, let alone heard about, I think I really like that. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's like a comedy aspect, because it's certainly not the games library.
Yeah, sure.
But so you not only have a incredible collection of consoles, but when I was over in the UK and we filmed a video with Bex, you pulled out a crap ton of games, one of which was Silver Wonder Sword. What's Judgment Silver Sword? Is that the name?
Yeah, Judgment Silver Sword,
which is the one of the most expensive / rarest Wonder Swan games. So talk a little bit about what else you might collect. Is it just the consoles?
So for a while, I was collecting games as well. So I collected a lot of Game Boy games and Saturn and PC Engine stuff. But it started getting really, really expensive. Games are more expensive than the consoles themselves in some way.
They are.
Obviously, there's more of them, and some of them are like ridiculously priced. Like some Game Boy games now are reaching over £1,000.
Yeah.
Judgment Silver Sword was one of the games that I felt like for the Wonders one I wanted to get, because there aren't that many games that we can play, because a lot of them in Japanese text.
Mm-hmm.
But it came up in one of the Facebook groups at a reasonable price, so I thought I'll get a hold of that. And yeah, it's a wonderful game. It's great.
Have you ever played Klonoa for the Wonder Swan?
I've not seen it yet. That's also one that's quite hard to get hold of, I believe.
Yeah, it's about a 50 quid game. I think I got, but 50 quid unboxed. I got a cart only and a manual a couple years back, and it's a stunning little game to play. It's a really, really nice platformer. But as you said, because you can't understand what's going on, it's quite a... Also, there's no mods yet for the Wonder Swan that you can put a nice new screen in and actually see what's going on. But
mine has a front light on it at the moment.
Oh, does it? Oh, cool. Yeah.
I think the one you played has a front light.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember it because that was a crazy day. But no, that I need to get. I'm not a big fan of front lights, to be honest with you. I think they wash everything out, and I'd rather just sit there with a light in an optimal lighting scenario. But you have a history with Game Boy development.
Yeah. So back in 2000, I was a Game Boy developer, Game Boy Color developer. I did it professionally, and before that, as a hobby.
Yeah, that's incredible. So how did you get into that?
Well, I've always programmed since I was a kid, and I always wanted to make games. And as I was learning stuff, someone released something called the GBDK, which is the Game Boy Development Kit, which is a C programming language for Game Boy, and so you can make stuff on your PC. And I decided to learn that, and as I made stuff with that, I became part of the community, entered competitions. There's a company called Bung, they're part of Lixang. They used to do flashcards for development, and they ran a competition. I entered that. I came second with my game.
Amazing.
And that then a company saw the game and then offered me a job for it.
Yeah. That's incredible, because I was on eBay the other day and I saw your game, the game that... Because so you, at one point, am I right in saying... In fact, you'll explain this better than me, but at one point you were working for a company that was developing a licensed game. Am I right in saying that? And then that didn't happen? Or they didn't use your variant? Or what happened there?
So I was working originally on the conversion of a game called Revolt. It used to be it's a PC, Dreamcast, and PlayStation game. Oh, and 64 as well, I think. Racing game with little racing cars.
Yeah.
And we were doing the Game Boy conversion of that. It got pretty far along, but then the game got cancelled, as games do all the time games get pulled and the funding either they decide it's not worth it or for whatever reason they cancel it. But yeah, the game I was working on got cancelled. Then we tried a few other things. We got licenses to do Mary King Riding Star and Equestria 2001, which are horse riding games. I know nothing about horse riding, but we were working on those. And then those got cancelled. And then finally I was working on Lego Stunt Rally, which is a little race track building game for the Game Boy. And I worked on that until I left the company, which didn't end very well for me.
Right, and then the game is still released, though, but just not
Yes.
officially.
Correct. Revolt didn't get released, but the code we had for that we retooled and made it into an ATV racing game,
Yeah.
quad bike racing game. And I didn't know what happened to that, and I left the company. And Lego Stunt Rally got finished by some other programmers. They're the ones that are credited in the game, not me. So,
But is any of your code in the game?
yeah, like 90% of that game was mine.
Jeez, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so, but this happens quite regularly in the games company, and it taught me a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, it means I still have a love for game making, which is great.
Because so as I was saying, I was on eBay just floating around, and obviously you know that I collect obscure. I was just touched on it a bit earlier, the Mega Duck and the Game Shard and all that sort of stuff. So I like obscure games as well, like the stuff that, Super Mario 16 on the Game Boy, for example, which is just a crappy little sprite remake. But I was coming across a entire set of the cartridges that your MTG or MTV, whichever one it was, racing game. ATV, that's the one that's on this Game Boy, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll buy that. And then but it was a part of a job lot, and I think it was like a few £100 or something for like a bunch of sealed ones. So that's annoying.
That was a set of games made by Data Electronics, the guys that made the Action Replay.
Yeah.
They released the Rocket games, so ATV racing, Smash Out, a bunch of other games, Space Invasion, Karate Joe, a few others. A few of them were available free on the magazine.
Yeah, you remember you saying that, actually. That's amazing.
So it was incredible to find out about this, because someone showed me the game, and then I recognized my code. And actually, 2 of the games in that series use my code. There's a racing game, and also a car racing game, and also the ATV racing game, which is it's mind blowing.
Because you've still got a flash cart with your early ROMs on there, haven't you?
I do indeed, yeah. So when we met up, I showed you some early prototypes that are on the flash cart. But since then, I've actually found the source code for all my old work. So I found the hard drive that goes on. So I now have all the source code, which is amazing.
Oh my god, that's amazing. You've got to preserve that. You need to dump that ROM as well, because those flash carts are a bit weird. There's not like a micro SD card. You have to actually put some serial connector thing into it. But that would be really interesting to preserve, because well, obviously it's a part of your history, but it's also a really cool part of just gaming history, I think. So that's awesome. So another thing you work on, which I just really wanted to really quickly wanted to touch on, the T-shirt, the very T-shirt that you're wearing right now, Pocket Pixels. So this is Pocket Pixels. This is a side project I do with my younger brother. So I actually make games with my older brother, and my younger brother, we make T-shirts together. Yeah. He has a T-shirt printing business, and I've had this idea for T-shirts for a long time to do these designs and put them on your pocket chest. So just put Pocket Pixel designs. And this is my god, is that why they're called Pocket? Yeah, so it's like this is where your pocket would be. Oh my god, it's taken me a long time to figure that out. That's embarrassing. What other ones are you working on at the moment? Because I know you do some for like special events and limited run sort of T-shirts. But what about? Because I remember for a while you were doing one a month. One a week. Jesus, it was insane. So what's happening with that? So we're kind of on a light hiatus at the moment. So we're still selling the designs we have. We're just not releasing any new designs at the moment. Because it got a bit intense. We released, I think, altogether 16 designs. Oh, sorry, 20 designs, I think, off the top of my head. And it got a bit intense. It took up a lot of time. It's not like a full-time job, so it wasn't enough to make enough money to warrant the time we put into it. Fair enough, yeah. But it was doing well enough that it was worth doing. So, it's just this weird middle ground where we couldn't make enough money from it, but we were making enough money to want to keep doing it. Yeah, exactly. No, that's cool. So we did a bunch of controllers. The Game Boy one was only at Manchester Play Expo. Yeah, I've got one. I love it.
But we will be doing handhelds at some point when we come back and start releasing designs again. Maybe not one a week, but yeah, we'll come back at some point.
Yeah, no, because I really like them. They're very high quality, and you were actually making them in Play Expo Manchester. You and your brother were actually printing them off, which was really interesting to see. But yeah, so another question I had. At Play Expo Manchester and many of the expos that go on in the UK, you often bring some of your console collection to the expos so that people can have a play on stuff that they'll never be able to acquire themselves. What you bring some really, really expensive stuff there. Like you had the Nintendo 64 DD. You've had some of the Famicom TVs. I can't. The GameCube, the Panasonic Q,
the Panasonic
and
Q,
the Game Boy adapter for that. So, what out of all of those, what is probably your rarest console? Because I always see permanent. Obviously, I know that you've got whatever you said before, 230 something rather of them.
Yeah.
But you sort of forget that in that is like some of the creme de la creme of consoles. What would you say is your holy grail of console?
It's really hard to say because there's quite a few of them that you don't see often at all.
Yeah.
There's the Dreamcast Divers TV, which is like a big giant Sonic helmet.
Yeah.
It's Dreamcast and TV built into one. There's the NTEX Adventure Vision, which is it's crazy rotating mirror console with a line of pixels. The Panasonic Q Game Boy player is relatively rare as well. It's the rarity. It was always a weird thing because sometimes you can't find it, but it doesn't cost so much when it turns up.
Yeah.
And but also on the other hand, sometimes there's ones that are quite expensive, but if you had the money, you could go out and buy one tomorrow.
No, I know exactly what you mean because you and I obviously know about the Game Plus, and I managed to find one of those for I did a trade with my friend, so it didn't cost me anything, but I think it cost him about 60, 70 quid or something boxed. Which
isn't that much.
No, that's not. I mean, especially when you were saying there about the Panasonic Game Boy thing, one of those boxed will set you back £1,000. Just the Game Boy adapter on the bottom.
Sure.
Because that's actually rarer and more expensive than the Panasonic Q itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I know exactly what you mean because if you sit tight and search all the time, like a Mega Duck will pop up for. Now, actually, whenever they go up, they sell for about 100 quid plus, which I think may be something to do with me. Talking about it all the time. But no, the Game Plus you're still looking for one of those, but not willing to pay the ridiculous price that one person listed one for, I think.
That's the thing. Like, I want to get a Game Plus because it's one of the ones I'm missing at the moment. But as you say, I want to pay a reasonable price for it. I've paid crazy money for consoles in the past because they'd never show up. But the Game Plus shows up enough that I don't think it's worth what some people are charging for it.
No, because if one came up, like if you might wait 5 or 6, 20 years potentially because you've been collecting that for long. But if one came up for like 500 quid, there is no way in hell that is worth 500 quid. So I guess it's a bit of sort of just waiting patiently. But what do you plan on doing with these? What is the end game?
I'm not sure. I've had a few ideas with it. One of them is to do a book. I want to do in a book called like the Soul Protect Collection and preserve the pictures of the consoles themselves and the box art because the box art is so important for me. It's one of those things that a lot of people just throw away the boxes, and I think it's quite a shame because someone took time to design them and they're part of the game, the gaming history. So I want to preserve that in that way. Also, the other idea was to do a traveling museum and just do like a pop-up museum. So I would have like a website and people could vote on what consoles they want to see.
Yeah.
And then if there were enough people who wanted to see, them, I would travel to their city for a weekend or whatever, and then do a showcase there for a weekend or whatever. No. But that's just a few ideas.
Yeah, I don't want to toot your horn, but I do really rate the fact that although you have a very expensive collection, a boxed DD, 64 DD would set you back 500 or 600 quid potentially. I don't even know what the going rate is on that, but and the Panasonic Q and the Famicom TV as I touched on before, but that doesn't stop you from taking it to an expo where sweaty Cheez-Its hands are going to be laid on those controllers and touch the screens and the CRTs and all the games, and people are going to just, they're going to obviously appreciate them, but they're not going to appreciate them as if they were their own. So I really rate that, because I think a lot of people collect for a flaunting sort of show-offy aspect, and there are a lot of people like that out there. So it's really cool to see you almost doing it as like a public service. You're taking one for the team, or at least your wallet is, and then you're taking them to all of these events and sharing them with people who might not be able to afford them or will never see them again.
Yes, as I said, it's a big part of the community. Like I love giving back to the community in that. At home, I don't have any space at the moment to display them, so I can't show. When people have nice pictures of their collection, I can't show that. I'll just show a bunch of crates where they're stored in, and I don't have time to play them because I'm busy working most of the time. So to get them out for an event, it's quite nice for me so they get to be played, because consoles are meant to be played. Stuff that is sealed, it really bugs me that people collect stuff that's sealed. Each to their own, but I feel like games and consoles should be played.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And to be able to take it to an event and then hear people say things something like, I never thought I would see one of these, or, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
And it's just wonderful, warming, because Super Famicom TV, for example, was like, it's one of the ones where I remember seeing an article in a magazine and I'm thinking, I really want one of these, but I had no idea how to get hold of one because they were Japanese only. And then I literally forgot about that console until maybe 5 years ago, I saw one at a market, and I was blown away by this rush of nostalgia as my brain goes, oh my God, that's the thing I really wanted. And now I'm in a position where I could hunt one down and pick one up if I need to. So I got hold of a few of those.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Quang, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. As I said, I think what you do is really cool in the gaming community, for helping us all out with whatever shows people are doing. You're out there setting up all the stuff, and obviously bringing your consoles to these expos and making the cool t-shirts. I look forward to the handheld run, and if there isn't a Game Plus and a Mega Duck, I will come and find you. Lastly then, for the people who are interested, what are you going to be getting up to entertain yourself during this quarantine period? What are you going to be playing? You got a bit of a choice.
So right now, actually, my game is making the game. So Mama Castle takes all my time up. So any spare moment I have, I'm working on Mama Castle, because we got to get a release. I said the release date is not too far away, May 31st.
What about on the toilet though? There must be a bit of an opportunity, a window.
On toilet, it's social media for the game.
I'll remember that when I'm messaging you.
Yeah. Literally, because it's just me and my brother working on the game, we have to do all the business side of it myself. So I do all the social media, I do all the marketing myself.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I can't wait to see it. I've played it. I did pretty good.
Yeah, you did indeed. You can get it now early access. It's available on early access on itch.io. So you go to sobitech.itch.io.com.
You can comment all the links in the description.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool, because it's a really fun game. It's definitely more fun when it's the interactive with waving your hand about. But I played it with the ball, and that was equally cool. Yeah. But I can definitely see it being a game that I would wait for the bus, just playing on my phone. I'm looking forward to it coming out. But yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me, Quang. It's been an absolute pleasure. When all of this blows over, I will come back out to London and we'll hang out again, because it's always fun. Cheers, dude. Thanks very much.
Right. Take care. You stay awesome.
Thanks all for watching this video, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's one. Bye.